Hey guys, welcome back to Micah Tech, where we talk about technology and spending money wisely. We're back with an extra video this week. I had a little extra inspiration and I decided I wanted to put out a third video for you guys this week instead of the normal two. Today we're going to be talking about when you should upgrade your Apple devices. It's a very hot topic in today's world, when you should upgrade. I have a lot of friends who upgrade every year. Some people who have devices that are 5 or 6 years old. We're going to discuss the ins and outs, the pros and cons of when you should consider upgrading your Apple devices. We'll specifically focus on AirPods, iPhone, MacBook, iPad, and Apple Watch. Let's get started. We'll start with AirPods. I just so happen to have the AirPods Pro 2. They're one of my favorite types of devices. In fact, I would say it's probably my most needed device in my lineup because I listen to so much music. I have my AirPods Pro 2 with custom felt tips, so it's easier to fit in my ear. And I love the features that come with the AirPods Pro 2. They come with MagSafe, Find My support, noise cancellation, spatial audio, all things that can be taken for granted, but ultimately for a pair of earbuds, it's fantastic. When would you want to consider upgrading to a nicer set of AirPods? Well, in my opinion, before we discuss when you should want to upgrade, to a nicer set of AirPods, we should discuss the main reasons why you would want to consider upgrading to begin with. Well, the first reason to upgrade pretty much any device is going to be battery life. Apple recommends that you upgrade your devices when the battery life is below 80% of its original value. That's for a phone, a watch, or an iPad or a MacBook. Most of the time, your phone, your iPad, your MacBook should last you about 3 or 4 years on a good battery before it gets down below 80%. Now that depends on your use case and the amount of time that you use your device. The second reason you would want to consider upgrading your device would be lack of modern features. In the case of the AirPods, one of the things we might consider is Find My support, noise cancellation, Bluetooth connectivity, the chipset, etc. A lot of those things would be something I would consider if I was going to think about upgrading to maybe the AirPods Pro 3s that are rumored to be coming out this fall. From there on modern features, we'll probably want to think about the updates that will be supported on our device. Is my phone going to support the most recent version of iOS? Is my MacBook going to support the most recent version of macOS? If you start losing support for software, it's probably a good time to consider upgrading your device. And last but not least, and I would say this is the trickiest of the four, is there a deal that makes it worth upgrading, maybe out of your normal cycle of upgrading? Maybe the AirPods are on sale. Maybe your cellular provider is giving you a heck of a deal on an iPhone. Maybe there's an open box iPad at your local Best Buy that's just too good to be true. All of those things need to be factored in when considering if you should upgrade your device. Now we'll pivot back to the individual devices I listed and discuss when I think you should upgrade them, and then we'll discuss when I'm going to upgrade my devices. So back to the AirPods Pro 2s. I'm not going to upgrade these on the next iteration of AirPods. They work perfectly fine for me. The battery life is still sufficient to get me through the day, and the features are modern enough to where I'm not concerned that when the AirPods Pro 3s come out, that there's going to be a huge degradation of quality for me. Now, I've heard rumors that they're going to put a small screen on the AirPods Pro 3. All of those things are really cool to think about, but I'll probably wait, just like I did last time, for a sale and a trade-in my old AirPods so that I can upgrade for a cheaper price to the new ones. But outside of that, I would not upgrade unless you have AirPods Pro Generation 1 or the AirPods 1 or 2s. Outside of that, if you have the AirPods 3rd generation or AirPods Pro 2s, I think it's probably a good idea to keep what you have unless one of those 4 factors applies to you. If your battery life is suffering, it's time to probably upgrade. Let's move on to the next device, the Apple Watch. Now, as many of you know, I just recently made a video on my Apple Watch. I have the Apple Watch Series 7. I mentioned in that video that I would not upgrade with my current watch. In my opinion, when you compare the Apple Watch Series 7 to the Series 8 and 9, not including the Ultra, but when you compare it just to the 8 and 9, it has almost the exact same features, but for half the cost. The Ultra is in a league of its own. If you are somebody who needs higher battery life on your watches, then it may be worth considering upgrading to the Ultra, or maybe if you're a hiker or an outdoorsman. I'm an outdoorsman and I don't even think I would get the Ultra, mainly because I just can't stomach the price point. My recommendation on when you should upgrade to a new Apple Watch would be really twofold for the current time that we're in. First and foremost, if you have a Series 5 or older, I would consider upgrading. I mentioned in my video, Series 5 or older, or maybe SE Gen 1 or 2, go to the Series 7. It's really not a huge jump in price. I've seen some of them going for as low as $175, $160 on Facebook Marketplace. Now, do your research and vet the people properly, but if you can get into an Apple Watch with an always-on display, 45 millimeters, I don't see why I wouldn't. I think it's a great idea. Beyond that, another thing to consider would be the Apple Watch X that's rumored to be coming out this fall. The event that they should release it will probably be the September 10th Apple event. Could be one in October, but there's some rumors about the Apple Watch Series 10 that may make you want to upgrade beyond a 7 to the 10. And in that case, I might join you. The next device we're going to talk about is the iPad. Now, I have 3 iPads in my household, all 3 of which are doing something in order to film this video. This is my iPad Pro. It is currently running multicam on Final Cut Pro. If we look over there, I've got my iPad mini, and then behind us, I've got my iPad 10th gen, all filming content for today's video. None of these iPads, I feel like, are meriting an upgrade, with the exception of the iPad 10th generation. It's rumored that the 11th generation will be coming out this fall, in addition to the Mini 7. But this pencil support on the iPad 10th generation frankly pisses me off. I don't want a Lightning Apple Pencil or a Gen 1 or the USB-C Apple Pencil. Give me one that magnetically attaches and I'll be happy. But beyond that, the features on the iPad 10th generation, like I outlined in the budget iPad battle video that I put out a couple weeks ago, is plenty fine for the average consumer. When considering upgrading an iPad, I would think of one really important use case. What are you using it for? Are you a student taking notes? Are you a editor? Are you a graphic designer? All of those should really factor into which iPad you choose to upgrade to. But for the everyday person using an iPad, I wouldn't upgrade unless I had a Series 9 or a Series 10, with the caveat of what is released later this year. From there, we're gonna go to a MacBook. Now, I wish I had something to show you here. I'll see if I can find some fun B-roll to plug in while I'm talking about it. But I've had the MacBook Air M1 twice now. I didn't really need it last time I had one. In fact, I ended up trading it in to get some other stuff for my family. But the M1 MacBook Air, how much it costs today, is one heck of a MacBook. As it stands currently, I would not upgrade my MacBook for any circumstance as long as I have Apple Silicon. Apple Silicon, for those who don't know, are the chips that are designed by Apple to work with Apple's products. That's going to be the M1, M2, M3, and M4 chip. So when you're investing in a MacBook, make sure that it has one of those 4. If it does not, I wouldn't purchase it. I don't think Intel Macs are worth it when you compare the overall performance from M1 to the last version of the Intel. It's leaps and bounds faster and more snappy than the Intel Macs ever were. So anybody who has an M1 MacBook Air, as long as the battery's not killing you, I'd keep it. Even with the announcements of the M4s coming out this fall, I don't see a really big reason to upgrade unless maybe an M2 or M3 go on a really, really good sale and you want that newer design. But beyond that, the M1 is plenty sufficient. The last thing we're going to go into is the iPhone lineup in general. We have the iPhone 16 releasing here in about a month, almost exactly to the day at this point. There's rumors that the 16 is going to have a different camera system, a capture button, but to be completely honest with you, there's not a lot of other features that are different now from the 15, besides the inclusion of Apple Intelligence. Now, the 16 Pro series is going to get bigger, and it's going to get a better camera system. A 48 megapixel ultra-wide camera is rumored to be added, in addition to some other small features. I don't know if I would upgrade to the 16 series. The 15, if you have one, whether it's the 15 or the 15 Pro / Pro Max, are great phones. Now, if you really want Apple Intelligence and you have a 15, maybe go to the 16, but I wouldn't do it unless the finances made sense. In my opinion, I don't intend on upgrading my 15 Pro Max unless there's something on the 16 Pro Max that just blows me away. Guys, that's the 5 main devices that we wanted to talk about. We talked about the AirPods Pro 2s, we talked about iPads, Mini, 10th, iPad Pro, we talked about the Apple Watch, we talked about the iPhone, and then we talked about MacBooks. For me, I have a lot of devices I use. Are there any that I would consider upgrading? Yes. The only thing considering upgrading will be my M1 my M1 iPad Pro. Now, I know I made a video that popped off on this channel a couple weeks ago talking about how you should consider investing in the M1 iPad Pro over the M4 that is just currently released. I still stand by that. My issue is I'm running a YouTube channel where I'm probably averaging 20 gigabytes of content a week, and the storage I have on this iPad's not keeping. So if that's the case, I will probably upgrade to the M2 or M4 if a price decrease happens this fall during Black Friday or Christmas. But beyond that, I'm happy with all my devices. My Watch Series 7, brand new condition, works like a charm. AirPods Pro 2 works like a charm. All my iPads, brand new, under warranty. They all work perfectly for what I need. So I'm not in a mood to upgrade. I would just put one word of caution for anybody watching. It's tempting in our world to want to upgrade because our friends upgrade. Do what's best for you and your family. iPhones, iPads, MacBooks, AirPods, generally speaking, and there may be some controversy in what I'm about to say, are built for longevity. The software is supported longer than most other products out there, including Android. And the hardware, if you take care of it, tends to last longer as well. Now, I know there's this whole planned obsolescence thing that we're discussing, and I don't think for a second that Apple's not doing that to an extent. But my Apple products have always lasted me a long time. So please consider the 4 things we discussed, the 4 main points: battery life, money, features, and software support before you decide to upgrade. Any of these things I've put together are just recommendations. So please, if you have any recommendations or thoughts, put them in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation about what Apple devices you have and which ones you are considering upgrading to. But beyond that, guys, thank you. Please subscribe, comment, like, and I'll see you next time.